Well, as the title says, this is one of the more common arguments that being LBGT is completely unnatural. And most of them try to say that natural refers to what's in nature. And yes, some of them realize that fails for LBG and they try to ignore it or try to brush it off. But what's really interesting here is that, as many of us pointed out, that we have these things in nature. We find gay animals, bisexual animals. Cheetahs, for instance, tend to be bisexual. They tend to have monogamous relationships with other males until breeding time. But in general, they're with other males and act as mates to other males. Now, what's interesting is, there's lesbian lizards. These are lizards that can only reproduce by having lesbian sex. They're an entire species of lizard that reproduce through parthenogenesis, but they mate with other females of the same species to stimulate the ovulation, even though it's not required. And it's with the other females. Now, with transgendered, this has actually been known with frogs and other things. It's been mentioned in Jurassic Park and whatnot. But now, a silver pheasant has been caught doing this at a zoo. Their female pheasant shows up the size of a male with the colorings of a male. It's a complete sex change. They're trying to figure out what happened. But here you've got a species of bird that completely changes its sex. Now, these kind of arguments really fail. I mean, yes, there's many problems, but I just love the fact that we keep finding these things that are supposedly unnatural in the animal kingdom. If your God makes this part of nature, why do you assume that humans wouldn't have these things, at least the feelings? Our bodies can't really do the sex change because most of our male organs are on the outside, so it's not really possible without surgery. But with these animals that have internal structures and whatnot, they can do it. So how do you guys explain this if if this isn't part of God's plan? How do you explain 400 species of animals that have homosexual and lesbian relationships? Some of them which are monogamous. Some of them which are in the wild. Some species have, like 60 to 70% of the animals are gay. Crazy statics like this. How do you explain these things if, this isn't natural? I'd like to hear explanations. Let me know your thoughts.